The agenda will look at your feedback from the last board meeting. It will share a new proposal and then look at next steps. We will now review the feedback that you gave us while working in your small groups at the last board meeting. We will share positives first. Most of the groups talked about the importance of reorganizing the executive committee, and there was huge support around a 2-year term for the presidency. This would allow the president to gain more traction during their term and get many things done. There was also support to remove the past president position and eliminate the secretary position. You also agreed that this reduces board costs, moving in a new direction of restructuring the board. You recognize the need for a reduction in the board, but you really feel strongly about keeping the representatives connected to the members in the local areas, because local areas need the regional support. Next, we will move to your feedback that you gave against the proposals. The first one that was unanimous across every single group was that you in no way wanted to reduce or lose regional representatives. You felt that the regional representatives were an important component to connecting with members in their area, and that by doing this, you would have less personal approach with members in their region. Also, you said that one zone could monopolize votes, and that it would be harder to represent larger areas. For example, if one person had to represent the East, or 1 or 2 people, they would have a limited exposure and connection to those people. The next thing you mentioned was that there could become an imbalance between elementary and secondary. And finally, similar to the regional representatives being reduced, this would result in a lack of regional understanding. I thought this was interesting because it mentioned about, like, if someone was a representative in the West, that they may not understand what's going on in the East and the needs of a principal out in the East. So this lack of regional understanding is a really important thing to consider also. It is clear to me that none of the proposals that we brought to you at the last board meeting are acceptable by a consensus across the board. As a result, I would like to share with you a new proposal, one that after talking with many of you may be something that might be a middle ground. The first part of the proposal is to reduce the executive committee. That's to put the president at a 2-year term, to remove the secretary, and to remove the past president. The next piece is to move to 2 boards, a regional board and a governance board. Next, I would like to talk about the regional board. This board would consist of all regional board members and executive board members. They would meet in person twice a year. They would meet at the conference in October, and they would meet at the summer retreat in July. This board would continue to do what it does with the members currently right now. This board would be responsible to connect with the members in their area, to do follow-up calls, to host events, and to do many of the things that they're continuing to do right now. This board would, in addition to meeting twice in person, it would meet twice through video conferencing. The duties would remain the same as they are now. Next is the Board of Governance. This consists of the Executive Committee, but we would add 2 at-large members would be added to the Executive Committee. One would be elementary and one would be secondary. They would be selected by members of the representative board. They must be on that board, so they would pull 2 of their board members from the representative board to move to the Board of Governance. The term for this is a 2-year term. This is the legal and governing body of the Board of Directors for PAESSP. This is the board that does the hiring, the firing, and makes all the major decisions. This board would meet in person 4 times a year. They would meet through video conferencing when needed, and they would provide detailed written meeting summary to all regional board members after the board meeting. They would stay in constant contact with the regional board members, but again, they would be the voting body, the legal board of directors for PAESSP. As we look at next steps, I'd like you to complete a survey on the PAESSP board restructuring format, the new one that we just proposed. Then at the board meeting in January, we will do a similar activity to what we did last time, where you'll break up into groups and you'll work on what are the pros and the cons of this. But beforehand, we would really like to get your feedback on this so we can share that out with the board also. So please complete the survey. I'll have that in an email to you, along with come to the board meeting where we'll be talking about the pros and cons and talking about this in our groups. I'd like to thank you for watching this informational session on our board restructuring proposals. Thank you, and this concludes this session.